There is a halt that sits on top of a hill in a valley. It is surrounded by a thick forest with a small stream that weaves its way through the intense overgrowth. The railway passes a lumber mill before crossing this stream. The electric engines often stop here to pick up wood destined for the junction. Occasionally, during times of increased lumber production, the lumber mill asks for special trains to bring their product down quickly. Now was one of those times, and as the mountaineer was continuing, the manager put Shane in charge of the lumber runs on top of the mountaineer service. "It's not fair." "What's not fair now?" yawned Randy. "Not only does Shane get the mountaineer, but he also gets the lumber specials. All me and you get is the work that Shane pushes off onto us." "He didn't push anything onto us. Manager scheduled him to take the trains and us to cover his work. Besides, he's still taking some trains." Abby ignored this point. "I wish I got the recognition with a special train all to myself." "Oh, you just complain about being overworked," chuckled Randy. "Besides, be grateful that we don't have any more to do. Imagine if all this lumber specials happened during the summer. We'd be buried in that extra work." Abby just humphed and rolled away to marshal her next goods train. Shane, meanwhile, was making his way to the lumber mill with empty flatbeds. He was humming a tune as he motored up the hillside. It was a dry, cold day with the sun making the hills burn with hues of the yellows and oranges. "This is lovely," Shane said with a smile. He came to a stop at the halt on top of the hill. Trains usually stop here to put on brakes before rolling down into the valley. The station master walked over to the cab, where Shane's driver handed him a thermos. "Chicken noodle soup from the shop in town, just as ordered." "Thanks, Jeff." The station master unscrewed the lid and a small stream of steam came out of the top. Shane watched curiously as the station master started eating with the driver. When his driver hopped back into the cab, Shane asked, "Isn't smoke a sign of something burning? Why is the station master eating it if it's burning?" The driver laughed. "That was steam," he explained. "When liquid heats up, it sometimes produces steam." The station master was trying to keep warm on a day like today. "So it isn't dangerous?" "Not at all." "Oh, I see." Shane pulled comfortably into the lumber mill. His pantograph lowered as he started marshalling his goods train. Abby sulked past just as he was finishing up. He chuckled at the angry look on Abby's face. He was too busy laughing at Abby to notice a small electrical spark jump from his pantograph as it was raised. The driver hopped out to inspect the train and talk to the guard. As he did, Shane noticed what he thought was steam drifting up into the air. "Nothing to worry about. It's just that steam that driver was talking about." The train headed off a moment later, leaving a pile of leaves and dead grass smoldering. "20 minutes later, Randy was stopped at the halt with a passenger train when the station master ran up to him. "The fire brigade's on their way. They need you to take them down to the lumber mill. Apparently the yard's on fire and there's an accident on the road." Randy was startled by this development as the firemen loaded hoses and water containers into the luggage compartment. Soon Randy charged off in the direction of the lumber mill. The fire train came to a stop to find some bush and a tree ablaze. A stack of logs sat ready to go were at risk. The firemen got to work as the yard foreman called up for more water. Soon, Shane arrived on scene with tankers filled with water. "Well, Randy, what kind of bungled operation do you call this? Decided you need to make a fire to keep warm in this chilly weather, did you?" Before Randy could respond, the foreman stormed up. "You! I watched your pantograph spark all the way from my office. Now all of my bushes are on fire. Your manager will be hearing of this." Shane was caught off guard. I thought it was steam. Why on earth would you think it was steam? "Maybe you lose the Mountaineer now, Shane." Please, pleaded Shane. "There's got to be some way to keep it, Randy. I'll share it with you." "I don't know. I'm still pretty hung up about the paint incident. I'll think about it." How about the lumber runs? Do you want those? Surely the foreman doesn't want me to have to hold this." "Well, he said I'll think about it." Shane had to depart a moment later, just as the fire was brought under control. It had been a close call, with a burn mark stretching out just feet away from the piles of logs. Randy arrived at the junction that evening with the last commuter train to find Shane nervously shunting around the yard. "What's gotten him all riled up?" Randy asked James. "His manager's away. He's on holiday until Friday. And Shane's all worked up that there's something he thinks he's gonna say." "Maybe," said Randy softly, "you can make it up to the manager before he gets back." Randy finished, casting a worried look at Shane. He knew how wound up Shane could get over something like this. "Why do you want the Mountaineer run anyways? I mean, it seems rather boring." "The Mountaineer is our line's #1 exposure to the public. Many tourists ride it and take lots of photos. Whoever gets it gets the public exposure too." I see. Oh, well, I have to get going now. Good luck, Shane." And as James departed the station, a plan buzzed through Shane's pantograph. "That's it! Randy, can you take the Mountaineer for me tomorrow? I'll take your train." Sure. It seems counterproductive, but if that's what you want." The two talked to their crews and the station master. Everyone agreed, and the next day, Thursday, Randy left with the Mountaineer. Shane marshaled his train bound for the top station. Just then he saw Abby return with some empties. "Hi, Abby. You look exhausted. Can I take your next train for you?" "What? Why? What are you planning?" "Yes, what are you planning?" asked the driver. "Well, that train leaves only a little bit after this one does. I can take them together." "I don't see why you'd want to, but sure. Be careful though, it's heavy machinery for Peel Goldred." Shane smiled as he pushed Abby's trucks to the end of his. His plan was simple. He'd show the manager how useful he was by moving all the loads up at once. With much straining, Shane got his train moving as a light drizzle started. I will do it, Shane chuntered as he started the climb. The trucks were dumbfounded and came quietly. Over the first hill and through the first station, Shane struggled. The nearby school had just gotten out and many boys came to see the long train. Shane passed over the big viaduct Adam and Colin had helped construct many years ago. The rain came on as he climbed up the next hill. Shane's driver got out and checked Shane all over when they stopped at the halt. Shane's system had been working overtime to accommodate the terrain and the heavy load. There was no shelter from the pelting rain at the top of the hill. This train has put a severe strain on your engine. We need to be careful. Nonsense. I will finish this run. I must. The driver didn't want to argue and just got back into his cab. The train started off again soon after, but Shane's situation only deteriorated. Even coasting down the hill didn't help. His brakes screeched as he tried to stop at the lumber mill, but it wasn't to be. Shane's engine slugged to a stop while moving. In a panic, his driver threw on the emergency brakes. Shane came to a shuddering stop well beyond the lumber mill. The men came out to look at the sad sight of the broken down electric. That's done it. You've blown enough fuses to start a fire. I'm surprised you've made it this far. I feel so weak. And you should. You aren't built to carry this heavy of loads on top of the challenging hills. We'll have to call for help. No more work for you. It took some time before Abby and Randy made their way to the stricken train. The two double-headed the train the rest of the way, leaving Shane in a siding at the lumber mill. He moped quietly as the other two got moving. He's actually gone mad, commented Abby. Poor engine. Manager will be back tomorrow. He won't be happy. The two headed off, leaving poor Shane where he was. Shane's best efforts to please the manager had gone horribly astray.